Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today I want to tackle the comment section one more time. We've got SPS concerns, critiques, criticism around price point, and maybe future doubt that we're going to get anywhere meaningful. We've talked about this lots, but it continues to be an issue on everyone's mind. SPS is falling. Will it ever stop? So let's talk a little bit more. Let's read a few of the comments from the comment section all around this one issue, around this one talking point. SPS price point, where it's at, and will it ever go up again? If that sounds interesting, stick around and stay tuned. My name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel1258, but you can just call me 12. Leave comments on this video or any other, and I'll try and read them. When I do, if there's something to talk about there, I'd love to create a separate video. So leave your IGN. Maybe I'll send you a little thank you. Let's get into it. So I've been reading the comments looking for some inspiration here tonight, and there's tons of things in here that are kind of around this idea. And I saw this comment more than once. Nikolai said 2 times nothing equals nothing. And he's referring to, it's a bit of a snarky remark, but fair play. He gives a bit of more elaboration down here, and he's speaking about the idea that SPS rewards may have gone up after the permit pass was instituted. Now you have to spend 2,000 DC or 40 vouchers in order to unlock Wild Play, which allows you to play with your bot and continue to earn in that way if you want to earn that in that manner. But you have to pay 80 cents worth of vouchers or $1.30 worth of DC in order to buy that pass. And if my SPS returns go up as a result of that permit pass because of what it does to the player base, and that means greater rewards for me individually because of fewer participants are fighting in that league, well, that also means that those rewards are dropping in value. So we've seen SPS price decline in that I think it's correlated or it's related. We've reduced the incentive to hold SPS in one sense. There was a number of bot accounts that had someone SPS on them that were fighting in Wild that have kind of closed up shops as a result of the permit pass, or they've consolidated. Either way, that speaks to a certain amount of SPS that doesn't necessarily need to remain staked. It might be being liquidated. Maybe that's part of why SPS price has been declining over the last, kind of since that permit pass issue was suggested. Now, I don't have the dates exactly carved out here, but I mean, over the last 30 days, we were at 1.26 cents, and now here we are at less than, 800 Splintosh, or no, Splintosh is not the way to say it there, but 0.8 of a penny, 0.8 of a penny. And I don't like what I'm seeing with the volume. I also don't like that these are like all-time lows. Like, I mean, these are not, we have no support levels beneath us. I'm not a TA guy, but I know enough about charts to know that this is not a strong position to be in. And regardless of where sort of let's say the chart analysis or even the sentiment analysis, what I find more interesting is the idea that regardless of what the moment feels like, the bleakness, the doubt, has something changed? And I've said this so many times in different ways. Has something changed between, let's say, 1 month ago and today, or 3 months ago and today, 6 months ago and today, a year ago and today, with respect to your understanding of SPS? And you might say yes. Whether it's the perma pass, whether it's the league changes, and now how there's no longer, distinct leagues, and you can't just quote unquote camp, which is some of the language some people use in silver if you like silver, gold if you like gold. The leaderboards don't apply in the same way. There's not the same sort of DC opportunities. There's been changes that I think people will point to even up to 2 years ago that have continued to maybe degrade or to erode some of the earning opportunities for you as individuals in every league level, at every sort of investment level within Splinterlands. And I think that's objectively true, and yet I would argue there's still opportunity, even if the rewards are trivial in nature. And Nikolai is pointing to the fact that I don't know if he truly believes, it's worth nothing. I think he's just being dramatic and maybe trying to make a, bit of a punchy point. But this sentiment it's not solely his. In fact, somebody else said that, and we'll read it in a moment. Do they really believe SPS is worth nothing? Do they really believe that it's going to be worth nothing? is the sentiment, or is it simply an articulation of a frustration that the price point has fallen and fallen and fallen? Because if it's that, okay, I get it. We're frustrated, we're disappointed, and I'm with you. But if it's the other piece of, now I'm so frustrated, I'm letting that sentiment drive my final decision that I don't think the SPS can go up. That's a different conversation. Do we see the disconnect there? There's two possible presumptions somebody like Nikolai might be driving at. 2 times nothing equals nothing means even if my rewards have gone up in nominal terms, I get more SPS per win, but they're worth less US dollar value, or quote unquote nothing, then the value of those rewards is meaningless or irrelevant or worse than it used to be. And it can be worse than it was. It's actually, I think objectively it's not, but you might say, going back 6 months, the rewards are worse than they were. Going back 2 years, they're worse than they were. And that is true, but it doesn't necessarily directly follow that therefore the rewards are meaningless, irrelevant, or that they'll never appreciate. And I can't say to you that, hey, I've got proof they're going to. I can't show you anything on a chart that's going to show you that SPS is destined to go to greater heights. The question has to be, why do we have our opinions about where SPS is and where it will be? It's not just that the rewards have changed, or the leaderboard system changed, or that the permit passes changed something. It's like, ultimately, do you consider the game entertaining, and do you think that it has staying power, like it'll be here in years to come? And frankly, those are the foundational points. There's kind of no point in a lot of this shared sentiment of criticism toward SPS price declining, or the rewards being less and less worth it. And I wonder if our community would be better served if we recognize that. Do you see what I'm saying? The criticism is profitability isn't where I want it to be. Yet, if ultimately you agree, and you might not, but if you agree that there will be at one point in the future a price increase on SPS, and there's an opportunity for a moon mission that could be substantial, if you agree to that, then you have to simultaneously admit questions around, the SPS price decline and the reward structure being inadequate in this moment are so irrelevant, because it's based on today's assessment of SPS price point. And again, if you yourself believe that SPS will appreciate, that appreciation will become dramatic at some point, and that therefore will represent a significant price increase to your portfolio, well then, we're thrashing about in frustration in a moment due to sentiment. But I say that's the sort of moment where we all need to take a deep breath. And I just feel that a little bit with Nikolai when he says 2 times nothing equals nothing. He goes on to say 110,000 staked SPS is required to receive an amount of vouchers for a wild pass, which is $840 worth of SPS. That's a strong point. What he's trying to say is, look, I have to put a big investment into the SPS in order to get the quote unquote free vouchers that will enable me to have a sort of ongoing wild permit pass. And he makes the point that that's a lot of money. He says, I don't know anymore how much cards will cost, but I assume it's not cheap. It is cheap, I would argue, but it's not free. And so, if we felt $840 for SPS was expensive, or maybe unreasonable or unattainable for most people, and it probably, let's be honest, for across the world, it is. $900 to buy some kind of crypto token. It's a speculative investment, all to try and gain a few, free SPS tokens, or with limited US dollar value. Most people aren't going to do that unless, again, that foundational belief of you think it's fun and has a future is present for you. But you got to set that aside in this moment and say, yeah, $840 for SPS alone, for a little bag of SPS that's going to allow you to sort of have the free wild pass. Yes, pretty big investment from the world's perspective, considering most people live on $10 a day across I think it's like 4 or 5 billion people in the world. Then he finishes saying cards are going to be some price, right? So it's not just $850 for the SPS, it's the cards too. And so the game's not profitable. So the funny money ratio seems to be far off, he says. And he's not the only one who said this exact idea. Oops. He's not the one. I also saw Elistios up here. 2 times 0 equals 0 still. Have a good one. Elistios, appreciate you, brother. You've been around forever. And at times you've expressed some some significant frustration and also some really thoughtful critique. And so thank you for the comments. And even though this was a short one, I just wanted to point out that Nikolai is not the only one, let's say, doubting the future valuation of SPS. Because again, who cares if the price around the reward token is not where we want it today, if we also believe that it could reach to a place where we want it to be eventually? Is that months away or years away? I don't really know. But until Bitcoin really rolls over, I think we have reason to believe that altcoins can really go for a crazy ride and that there might be a moon mission available for SPS. And that's irrespective of some of the fundamental concerns we might have around the game. Player base decline, SPS increase, reward decline, whatever other factors you've been looking at that are pointing you toward having a sentiment of criticism. I think, again, if you believe that there's reason to have confidence across the long-term horizon, you have to just sit in a moment of change like this and let it wash over you and just be disinterested in it. And maybe that's impossible for some people, because maybe $850 worth of SPS is life-changing wealth. And then you have to have cards on top of that. And so I don't say this like everyone's going to be able to do what I'm saying. But what I'm offering is a mindset that I am walking in that allow me to rest easy in the middle of crazy turbulence and even uncertainty. Because the truth is, I am uncertain about the future, but I have a degree of confidence, a significant degree. Now, you don't need to share that, but I guess formulate your opinion on the future of where you think SPS is going to go, and stop worrying about where SPS is at today, because there's a universe of comfort in a future focused approach, and there's nothing but sentiment based frustration in the other. To fixate on how SPS has fallen and it won't pop today or yesterday is to be driven by sentiment, whereas to think fundamentally about your confidence in Splinterlands, if you even have that, and say, I think one day it might reach something crazy, that is a place of, okay, if it goes down in the meantime, I'm not shaken, I'm not frustrated, I'm not scared, I'm not. And again, not everybody can hold the story or that piece I'm describing. But again, this channel is primarily first and foremost about my story and how I'm handling the game of Splinterlands. And I hope you guys tune in because you like to hear where I'm at. Maybe it helps you think through where you're at. But I can't prescribe for you a sort of a winning formula. I can only share with you the formula I feel has benefited me. And it has been that moving away from or setting down the sentiment-driven concern over today, with that bigger, deeper, longer term recognition that I continue to believe the game is fun and has a future, and if so, that SPS has an opportunity to be this crazy thing. And if it was to at some point go to 5 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents, $1, that would be that sort of transformation that retroactively could be a dramatic raise to your portfolio. And it won't matter to you that we're at 0.8 of a penny today. Eventually, right? If you hold until that point, it doesn't matter to you unless you sell at 0.8 of a penny and then watch it go up. And so for me, I'm not looking to sell now. I'm not looking to sell tomorrow. I have no unique or let's say new misgivings about where the game is going and where the team has been sort of driving. The new player experience seems to be, let's say, being executed on. I think the town halls have been giving us a great deal of clarity. I think I like the new art design. I like the rebellion cards. I like the new conflicts. I like the new, partnerships with the different Web3 games, even though they're like relatively trivial. I just think this is a blossoming moment And I think I'm okay with the rewards being deferred and not being available today. I wonder if you guys agreed to that, because I saw a lot of comments out there that were implying that there's deep frustration that the rewards aren't there now. And that's okay too, because again, my reaction to the current setup or situation isn't always going to be the same as yours. But I think I will be here in 4 years, 5 years, and some of you will fall away and then be interested again during the next bull market because you have held on to a sentiment-driven mentality and you forego that sort of, let's say, firm foundation of fundamentally driven analysis, like a fundamental drive and understanding that informs your long-term vision for where this could go, not where this will go, because no one knows there's no certainty in these things, but you can have some degree of confidence, and that changes everything for me. That's why I've survived this long. That's why I've multiplied the way I have already. That's why, not just in Splinterlands, but in other cryptocurrencies as well. And those aren't doing so hot either. That's the thing too. Like 63,000 for Bitcoin. It's been bleeding out for the last 3, 4 days, 5 days, and many other coins too. Look at the red. And frankly, I don't know if there's going to be a green sort of corner to come around here. But the core question that I just can't shake, and I think would provide you a great measure of peace if you addressed it, is this: has something fundamentally changed with the project that I invested in, where I now no longer believe in the future? If so, that's probably it's time to sell. But for me, with respect to Splinterlands, with respect to SPS, I am more confident now than I've ever been, because my confidence is not based on the sentiment at the moment, but on the long-term analysis and predictions of where we might go. If you want to survive bear markets, I think you need to adopt my perspective. But not everybody has the ability to do that. And so again, this is not proscriptive, but I am describing the way that I've managed to survive. 2017, I think I got into crypto. It's like, we're coming on 8 years. That's crazy to me. So I hope that's valuable. I hope that was entertaining. If it was, let me know in the comment section below. And guys, I just hope you have an amazing day. God bless. Bye for now.